Thanks for joining us at ARTivism Virginia as we sing in place. Tonight we'll be featuring music and spoken word for our shared causes of environmental protection and social justice, along with calls to action from our partners in the work. I'm Joshua Vanna, co-director of ARTivism Virginia, and I'm joined by my co-director Kay Ferguson in Charlottesville and my bandmates of the SiNG Collective. Coming to us from Roanoke, Virginia is BJ Lark, Camry Harris of Martinsville, Virginia, Emily Blankenship Tucker of Ferrum, Gabe Gavin of Ivy, Graham Smith White of Washington, D.C., Laney Sullivan of Richmond, and Lily Bechtel of Charlottesville. And we've got a wonderful, wonderful lineup for this evening's program, so we hope you stick around.
Indeed, we'll be joined by my bandmate, Catherine Backus of Bedford, Virginia, who is known as Catherine the Great for a reason.
And my dear friend SwampTrees from Richmond, Virginia will be joining us too.
And we're thrilled to welcome Jason Crazy Bear Campos KECK from North Carolina, singing in 3 Native American languages.
And we'll have 4 short lessons from GABBY GILLESPIE and Jessica Sims of Invest Virginia, and 1 from Jay Irons of CAPTrust Investments on how and why to divest from fossil fuels in Virginia.
And we've also got Appalachian artist Alien Being coming to us.
And you won't want to miss original poetry from Southwest Virginia's Katie Woodford.
We've also got an anniversary shout-out video to Appalachians Against Pipelines, our friends in the trees stopping the MVP.
And from the collective, we've got a couple of songs as well from Emily, Graham, and Josh.
So stay clear of that touchpad, friends, and turn up the volume a notch or two. We've got a wonderful program ahead. First, we're honored to welcome Jason Crazy Bear Campos KECK, whose wide connections of heritage, family, and water protection span much of this continent. From East Oakland, Jason is the VP of Outreach for an international men's organization focused on successful families, careers, and communities. With a multiracial heritage of Native American, Choctaw Apache, French African Creole from Louisiana, and European backgrounds, he is also a ceremonial dancer and works together with his wife on social justice issues in the community. He is connected to fighting the Mountain Valley Pipeline Southgate Extension by marriage. With honoring songs in 3 indigenous languages, here is Jason Crazy Bear. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, it's a ma, hi, it's a matsuwe, onion, hi, it's a ma, hi, it's a matsuwe, onion. Ho, yo, in the matsuwe, onion. Ho, yo, in the matsuwe, onion. Hi, it's a ma, hi, it's a matsuwe, onion. Hi, it's a ma, hi, it's a matsuwe, onion. Ho, yo, in the matsuwe, onion. Ho, yo, in the matsuwe onion. Hi, it's a ma, hi, it's a matsuwe onion. Hi, it's a ma, hi, it's a matsuwe onion. Ho, yo, in the matsuwe onion. Ho, yo, in the matsuwe onion. Hi, it's a ma, hi, it's a matsuwe onion. Hi, it's a ma, hi, it's a matsuwe onion. Ho, yo, in the matsuwe onion. Ho, yo, in the matsuwe onion. Yo ho, you tits on the what's in. Yo ho, you tits on the what's in. Hey yo, way on in. Hey yo, why not? Yo ho, you tits on the what's in. Hey yo, way on in. Hey yo, why not? Yo ho, you tits on the what's in. Yo ho, you see it's on the what's in. Hey yo, way on in. Hey yo, why not? Yo ho, you see it's on the what's in. Hey yo, way on in. Hey yo, why not? Yo ho, you see it's on the what's in. Yo ho, you see it's on the what's in. Hey yo, way on in. Hey yo, why not? Yo ho, you see it's on the what's in. Hey yo, way on in. Hey yo, why not? Yo ho, you see it's on the what's in. Yo ho, you see it's on the what's in. Hey yo, way on in. Hey yo, why not? Yo ho, you see it's on the what's in. Hey yo, way on in. Hey yo, why not? Hey ya na na ya, hey ya na na ya na, hey ya na na ya, hey ya na na, hey ya na na ya, hey ya na na ya na, hey ya na na ya, hey ya na na. Yimbo, yimbo, nani yo, hey yo, yimbo. Yimbo, yimbo, nani yo, hey yo, yimbo. Hey ya na na ya, hey ya na na ya na, hey ya na na ya, hey ya na na, hey ya na na ya, hey ya na na ya na, hey ya na na ya, hey ya na na. Yimbo, yimbo, nani yo, hey yo, yimbo. Yimbo, yimbo, nani yo, hey yo, yimbo. Hey, hey, oh. Pia, pia, wila, si chayelo. Oya te pe chiapo. Uchimaka yuhan yapo. Many wichoni wakanyelo. Hey, hey, oh. Pia, pia, wila, si chayelo. Oya te pe chiapo. Woo, woo. Yako.
Got me in that holy water before I go to sleep. Got me in that holy water before I go to sleep. Hold my hand and take me away. Hold my hand and take me away. Don't you know that sweltering summer will fade right into fall? Don't you know that sweltering summer will fade right into fall? Give me
Thank you, Jason Crazy Bear, for those 4 wonderful performances and for joining us to SiNG in place. Following Jason, we heard the Richmond-based duo SwampTrees with their original song, Drop Me. Centering around the music of Micah Whitney and Graham Remicaldo, and often including many of their friends, SwampTrees is a band of part-time musicians, part-time farmers, who sing songs about the earth and their connection to the land. You can hear more of their music and purchase it online at swamptrees.bandcamp.com.
Our concert collaborators for this evening are the good folks from Invest Virginia. So we'd like to welcome Sierra Club Virginia chapters GABBY Gillespie from Big Stone Gap, Virginia, and Jessica Sims from Richmond to school us on divesting from fossil fuels and investing in a more just and equitable future that we can actually live with. Jessica and Gabby, thanks for being with us. Here's lesson number 1.
Hey y'all, I'm Gabby Gillespie, one of the co-coordinators of the Invest Virginia campaign.
Hey, I'm Jessica Sims, another one of the co-coordinators of the Invest Virginia campaign. We're really happy to be here this evening with you. Our thanks to ARTivism and the SiNG Collective for having us tonight. We hope everyone is safe and well where they are and that their loved ones are too. A little bit about Invest Virginia. It's a coalition across the state pushing for financial institutions to divest from fossil fuel companies and infrastructure projects while reinvesting in innovative community-based projects and building a new economic system.
Our work is on the shoulders of many, many activists and organizers throughout the years and rooted in South African movements, over 20 years of work dismantling the apartheid system in the 80s, student movements in the 2000s, asking for divestment from their universities and colleges, as well as fossil fuel and other harmful industries, and another resurgence during Standing Rock, asking for divestment from the DAPL pipeline. In Virginia, we've seen these actions anywhere from Bank of America divestment actions and demonstrations asking them to divest from mountaintop removal, and the many divest groups that have popped up across the Commonwealth, including Divest RVA and coalitions like Protect Us.
So what we're seeing here in Virginia is happening across the nation too, as harmful projects are being financed and perpetuating a wrong direction for everyone and a harmful direction for those that are immediately in the paths of these projects. And so we can look to different nationwide kind of snapshots of what's going on, and ones that are specific to our state, many of which can be found in the Banking on Climate Change reports. Those lay out that financing is continuing to go up, even though we know we need to move towards a clean energy future. And we can see specific examples of banks that are behind multiple projects at once. We can see that it's trillions of dollars we're talking about. And this is enormous amounts of investment that could be redirected into sustainable systems that actually help the communities of Virginia. We know that Bank of America played a role with the Atlantic Coast Pipeline, and that Wells Fargo plays a role with the ruinous Mountain Valley Pipeline. And so national banks are negatively impacting Virginia, its communities, and its waterways. Campaigns have been across the nation, and there's been a lot of great work here in Virginia too.
In May of last year, we launched the Invest Virginia campaign by having many actions coordinated on the same day at noon. And we saw them happening in Big Stone Gap, Virginia, in Norton, Virginia, in Richmond, in Harrisonburg, in Blacksburg, in Salem, in Roanoke. It was a really beautiful day, and we were excited to show that voices across Virginia can be united and that we all want to see reinvestment in our futures and our visions, and not just you know, all of these decisions coming down to us from above. So, and since then we've had webinars, as you see here, with coalition groups across Virginia, having conversations about the continued work around divestment. And that's what's beautiful, I think, about this coalition, is that it's all based on local visions of investment and reinvestment in our communities. So thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more information about Invest Virginia and the continued work we plan to do across the state. Thanks, everybody.
Hi friends, Emily here. I hope that you're all doing really well and staying safe. And I am doing really well and staying safe, and I'm really happy to be spending another Thursday night with you here. So thank you very much. I'm going to do a song tonight that I usually do with my band after Jack. Speaking of which, I am really excited that Catherine Backus is on tonight's concert. Hi, Catherine. And this is a song that's about renewal and about looking to the past to think about what we want to take with us into the future. And it's called Echo. At the rise of each day, the earth is renewed and the past gone away. Does she remember the source of her cry? Is as old as the stars in the first midnight sky as an echo. Old familiar song, we've known it all along as an echo. Without any words, I'll keep my love hidden until it's returned. When our hearts to the rhyme of the ages resound, forever repeating, eternally bound as an echo. Old familiar song, we've known it all along as an echo. Like the tiniest seed, holds to its purpose, but must be received by a welcoming earth, to root and aspire, to lend a strong branch to a mockingbird choir as an echo. Old familiar song, we've known it all along as an echo. Started long ago, with room enough to grow as an echo. Thank you.
Hey everybody, my name's Jessica Sims. I'm coming to you this evening from Henrico County. I hope you and your loved ones are safe and well at this time. I am a staff member at Sierra Club's Virginia chapter, and our chapter is part of the Invest Virginia Coalition. So we are looking to help support the coalition that moves financial institutions away from fossil fuel projects and works towards better community investment. Really appreciate being here this evening. Thanks to ARTivism for having us. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple steps you can take that are specific to your own divestment. So first step, research what your bank is doing. A great tool for this is the 2019 Banking on Climate Change report. It talks about a lot of U.S. banks, like Bank of America, who is funding Atlantic Coast Pipeline, Wells Fargo, who is funding the ruinous Mountain Valley Pipeline, or J.P. Morgan, who funds multiple things in the fossil fuel industry, including fracking, tar sands, and liquefied gas terminals. Support of these projects actively harms the communities where the projects are sited, and it pushes us further from the future we need, a just and equitable transition to a clean energy future. It makes it very clear what the banks prioritize by what they choose to finance. And so that leads to the next step. Consider changing your personal bank. Changing it to one that supports community investment, like a credit union or a locally based branch. If those banks are not an option in your area, you can still talk to your bank at the branch level, at the headquarters level, and let them know about your concerns. Send a letter, make a call, email them. It's helpful and important to let them know what your concerns are, and that as a customer, you don't want them to support in projects that actively harm your community, the people and places that you care about. 2, look for other ways to divest where you are. This could include your local government, your university's school finances. Talk to your local county treasurers, elected officials, or university boards to see if they're willing to shift where their funding goes. Consider writing a letter to the editor that is directed to investors for a project. That could include the investors of Mountain Valley Pipeline. Divestment can mean impacting the way they see a project too, and giving more truth to what that project is. Take Mountain Valley Pipeline. You can talk to Wells Fargo, let them know why you're against this project. That's a very important step. Pushing back against the false narrative that the project developers are putting forward is incredibly important. Pushing back because the project is billions over budget. The developers are overselling its percentage and overselling its viability. Talk to your friends and loved ones. That's really the most important step. What else can divestment mean for you? Removing financial backing or defunding harmful systemic structures that are not serving your community, and envisioning a reallocation of those funds for programs and support that have a lasting positive impact. Community investments that could be determined by the community. So it's really just keeping these conversations going, considering personal divestment if that's an option, but talking to your bank, letting them know what your concerns are, and then actively keeping conversations going about what you would like to see for your future and for those you love and care about and for your community. So thanks so much for listening.
Thanks, Gabby and Jessica, for divestment lessons number 1 and 2. This seems like a truly safe school. And I think I'm not the only listener who just feels grateful every time my bandmate, Emily Blankenship Tucker of the SiNG Collective and Afterjack, opens her mouth to sing. You can hear more of her music at afterjackband.com. And now, please welcome our friend Alan Graff, also known as Alien Being, from Floyd, Virginia. You can find his music at alienbeing.hearnow.com and facebook.com/alienbeingmusic.
Howdy, all you beings and earthlings out there. This is Alien Being, and I'm going to do a tune for you called What's the World Coming To? It's late at night, I'm sitting around thinking what the world's coming to. It's really stinking. I know there's someone out there thinking the same. I know there's someone out there wondering who to blame. It's a sad, sad story. That's one perspective. Hundreds, thousand dead. I don't need no detective. Oh, to understand the pain that we're going through. To see it through the end, it's gonna take a magician to make it all, man. There's a silver lining in the middle of the lane. It could be the timing where humanity gets sane. Hey, whatever happens, it's history either way. We can follow the devil, all the dawn of the new day, yeah. Make it right, we can just go away. It's come down to the present, heal the sins of the past. If we don't make it happen, oh, it just won't last. One thing's for certain, it's simpler than before. We can lie in our own waste, or we can walk out the door. The choice has never been clearer, there's no refuting it. Oh, we can't put it off, there's no disputing it. It's late at night, I'm sitting around thinking what the world's coming to. It's really stinking. I know there's someone out there thinking the same. I know there's someone out there wondering who to blame, yeah.
Gabby here with you again to talk a little bit about what we mean when we talk about reinvestment or community investment. So I wanted to use this as an example. This is a group of folks that were fighting a federal prison that was meant to be built in East Kentucky, close by here in Southwest Virginia, where we already have multiple prisons. And so this was a federal prison that was proposed, and we envision a world where no more prisons were built. We envision a world where there was no prison going to be built in East Kentucky. And we built our campaign around that vision. We saw victory in this campaign. That prison is not meant to be built in East Kentucky. And I believe we wouldn't have seen this victory happen if we hadn't had that vision, if we hadn't seen a world without this prison. If we had thought it was inevitable, maybe it would have been. So one way to build these visions with your community are people's movement assemblies. Project South put together this amazing handbook of how to put together a people's movement assembly. And these assemblies have been used throughout the South to create community visions and to build action plans on how to govern and how to build that infrastructure. And it's all rooted in building power in our social movements. So that's a really great resource that you can find at peoplesmovementassembly.org. Another amazing group who has shown bold vision is the Movement for Black Lives. This is part of their policy platform. This is the Invest Divest piece. And they say, we demand investments in education, health, and safety of Black people instead of investments in the criminalizing, caging, and harming of Black people. We want investments in Black communities determined by Black communities and divestment from exploitative forces, including prisons, fossil fuels, police, surveillance, and exploitative corporations. So big ups to Movement for Black Lives for bold leadership in this country. So we are inviting y'all to create some bold visions of the future. We truly believe that building power to see these pipelines go down as we're seeing them going down, right? We're one by one, we're watching them go down, and we know that MVP is next. So we're inviting you to be a part of our visioning. We've created a project called Seeding the Future, and we're calling for visual art submissions. We want you to be a part of creating a mural of our envisioned future. So if you create art, if you do drawings or paintings or photography, embroidery, collage, if you create any kind of art where you can depict the future you want to see, the seed that you would plant, please submit. You can find this here at the Invest Virginia Facebook page or the ARTivism Virginia page. And we'd love to see your submissions and kind of weave this into our patchwork quilt we're creating of the future we want to see. We're excited to see what you come up with and can't wait to continue to envision a future with you.
Those creative Seeding the Future images coming our way by either posting them in the Seeding the Future Facebook event linked below or by sending them directly to investvirginia@gmail.com. If we see the future we want and need, then we can make it happen. Next, we'd like to welcome Southwest Virginia poet Annie Woodford, originally a Henry County resident and a longtime resident of Roanoke, Virginia. Annie is the author of Bootleg from Groundhog Poetry Press. Annie, thanks for being with us on SiNG in Place.
I'm Annie Woodford, and these are two poems I wrote about the fight against the MVP pipeline in Roanoke County and Floyd County, Virginia. in the pipeline's path for red Terry. Pippins and scarlet oaks, she said. She took to her tree because she knew she'd never see any of this again. The wayward field, the water meadow filled with late spring rain, filtering down through karst-pocked caves to the aquifer's hidden well. The way southeastern trees turkey call against each other when they rub high branches in high wind. She lived in the whippoorwill's liquid note. Pippin, the name for an apple that used to mean seed, is an old word for a new world. And most of the orchards are gone. The few rows she still has, she has not for money, but to know that the animals come. Black bear, deer, the careful raccoon, to eat the windfall turning sweet and tall grass, to leave behind scat bejeweled with seed, tracks of paw print and claw, rubbed bark, the bitten twig. The second one is called Demijohn, Bent Mountain. We got stoned in the soft green needles of a tree we were slow to realize is not native to our mountains. Dawn redwoods, part of a court-ordered remediation aimed at the last landowner who scraped the creek banks clean. The trees are still young enough, their survival is uncertain, though if they do live, just one will fill up this bend, a green cathedral of feathers falling, autumn-struck come cold weather. Deeper in the interlocking pattern of the woods, the last hemlocks glisten, the fine white web of the fungus that is killing them, only heightening their evergreen glaze. Somewhere, deep in the Appalachians, perhaps not far from this gorge where a pipeline will cross Bottom Creek at least 30 times, some say a few chestnut trees remain, resistant to blight and hidden from all but the few who knew how to find them. Time and trees stretching wide as turkey vulture wings. People used to pose on the fallen tombs of their trunks. A plank of wormy chestnut can cost over $1,000 these days. On a map for the proposed pipeline route, there is a blast zone, an evacuation zone, a geologic explanation for karst formation, which means everything seeps through these mountains. The water in Bottom Creek so cold it is shocking every time you get wet. The salamanders persisting nymph quick this time of year, despite sediment slicking the rocks. Underwater, crawdads like big orange flowers bloom out of dark places. Under the water, water flows, an aquifer wider than the Great Road. The folks who know to watch out for rattlers when they reach into rhododendrons or step from one cool stone to another.
Hey y'all, this is Catherine the Great coming to you from my home in Bedford. You may also know me as a third of the trio Afterjack. If you've been tuning into these concerts, you've seen Emily and Rachel doing their thing. I really enjoyed watching this series, so I'm really honored to be invited to be here today. And I'm going to play a song about my hometown. I come from a town called Oak Ridge, Tennessee, which, if you know your World War II history, was created by the government through eminent domain as part of the Manhattan Project. So a lot of people were displaced, and the end result was the refinement of uranium that was used in the atomic bombs. And when I was growing up, this was a source of pride, and it always troubled me. And with the anniversary of the dropping of the atomic bomb, I've been, thinking a lot about the destruction that basically paid for me to go to college. So there was a man from the area before it was Oak Ridge called John Hendricks, and he suffered some personal losses and took to the woods, waiting for a vision, as you do. And he got his vision after 40 days and 40 nights slipping on the ground. And he predicted basically, factories and the war machine. And then World War I happened, and everyone said, crazy John Hendricks, what was he talking about? Then World War II happened, and he was proven right. So I've been thinking a lot about the Cassandras of history, who make predictions and aren't heard. But this time with the pipelines, it's going to be different, because we are being listened to, our predictions of destruction and death. And we're gonna stop it, right? We stopped ACP, we're gonna stop MVP. So for you truth tellers, speaking your visions, this one's for you. It's called Bear Creek Prophet. Everything I had is gone. Everything I had is gone. So I'll sleep on the hard ground. I'll wait for the call. Everything I had is gone. I wander these hills alone. I wander these hills alone. I'm the only one knows what will come to my home. I wander these hills alone. In my dreams, I can see in my dreams. Changes will come to this land. Changes will come to this land. And the valley will be filled with buildings filled with man. Changes will come to this land. In my dreams, I believe. I believe in my dreams. Someday this earth's gonna shake. Someday this earth's gonna shake. And the war will end, but the earth, she will break. Someday this earth's gonna shake. Someday this earth's gonna shake. Thank you.
Catherine, thanks so much for that powerful song. And indeed, we will beat the Mountain Valley Pipeline. You can hear Bear Creek Prophet and more of Catherine's award-winning songs at catherinethegreatmusic.bandcamp.com, as well as afterjackband.com.
Hey y'all, it's Gabby Gillespie again from Invest Virginia, and we wanted to take the time to actually uplift one of our coalition members, SWVA, and just show you a little bit of what their launch looked like in 2017 and an example of what it looks like to do divestment action. So hope you enjoy.
My name is Jessica Sims. I'm here today in Richmond, Virginia, at the corner of 11th and Marshall at the Wells Fargo, as we encourage Wells Fargo and other banks to divest from dirty pipeline projects, including the Mountain Valley Pipeline.
Hi, I'm Barb Adams. I'm with the Richmond Interfaith Climate Justice League and Quaker Earth Care Witness at 11th and Marshall at the Wells Fargo branch. We're here to begin a divestment campaign.
I just divested all my accounts from Wells Fargo because of their support of the Mountain Valley Pipeline and the Atlantic Coast Pipeline and other fossil fuel projects that they're supporting. And so I withdrew all my accounts.
And where are we headed now?
We're headed to City Hall.
Hey, good morning. How are you? I was on the email with Roshana on Friday and said that we'd be here to drop off a letter to the director. Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Thanks for meeting with us.
Nice to see you. I was told you might have something for me.
I do, yeah. We would like to ask that Mayor Stoney consider divesting Richmond City funds from banks that are supporting natural gas pipelines that will be affecting our state. So there's a letter asking that.
Great.
And then we also have research information to support that in the letter.
You know, as an old reporter, I always appreciated research.
Yeah, and we have more if you need it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. The next part, I think, is us being able to look at some of your material and getting in the hands of the right people and be careful and deliberative and smart with our common goals in mind.
All right, y'all. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks for DivestRVA for the resources, and check them out on their Facebook page or their website, divestvirginia.com. Have a good one.
We want to take a moment for an early celebration of Yellowfinch and Appalachians Against Pipelines. It's about to be their 2-year anniversary of the blockade in Southwest Virginia outside of Elliston, blocking the Mountain Valley Pipeline. And we are so grateful for them and their tireless effort for so many months and months and months. And if you'd like to support Appalachians Against the Pipelines, there's a link below, or you can visit their Facebook page. We're going to show next a video called Diamonds in the Sky, which is a tribute that ARTivism made to their effort, and it features an original song called We Believe by Afterjack.
Why am I up here? If I may paraphrase Henry David Thoreau, my answer to the question, what are you doing up there, is, what are you doing down there? Being in the tree is just the logical course of action.
Do you see the diamonds in the sky? Do you see it?
But for me, my actions are just the natural outgrowth of my beliefs. I'm not going to wait for some politician or some business person to come along with what they consider to be a solution to the world's problems. I think for me, what it means to be fully human is to experience the world directly, and when you see injustice and when you see things that upset you, to be upset by those things and then to take action directly in your own life. And as I've had time to think about things up here, what I am seeing more and more is that I'm really fighting against an entire way of seeing the world and of being in the world, of which this pipeline in particular and capitalism are really just examples.
We believe in our clear imagination, young and old.
Every color, every kind, there is dignity and harmony when all are well.
And as much as possible, what I'm trying to do with my life is to try and find a new way of being in the world.
They left their women's work, joined their men in line, shouting each voice is heard when every vote is counted. They proudly march together for your rights and mine. We believe in our clear imagination, young and old. Every color, every kind, there is dignity and harmony when all are welcome and none are left behind.
Like a diamond in the sky, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
With gratitude and purpose, we are standing on the mountain to protect the trees they've planted and keep their dreams alive. Where the earth is rich and the water is clear, we come to honor those who cared enough to leave them here.
Again, lots of love and respect to the good folks at Appalachians Against Pipelines and their brave campaign for over 2.5 years now to directly resist MVP. And that's including the Yellowfinch tree sits coming up on their 2-year anniversary. Well done, y'all. Keep it up and stay safe. Next up, we'd like to welcome our friend Jay Irons, originally from Jacksonville, Florida, and now living in the lower Shenandoah Valley. Jay comes to us from CAPTrust, and he's going to talk to us a little bit more about the climate surrounding fossil fuel divestment. Jay, thanks so much for being with us on SiNG in Place.
My name is Jay Irons. I'm a principal and financial advisor with CAPTrust, one of the largest registered investment advisory firms in the United States. I've personally been in the investment profession for over 35 years. I live and work in Roanoke, Virginia. I was asked to speak on the potential benefits and impact of socially responsible investing. In our industry, this practice is most often referred to as ESG, short for environmental, social, and corporate governance, and can be defined in many different ways. It allows investors to follow their conscience and beliefs, empowering them to align their portfolios with their set of values. From the perspective of an investment advisor, our primary objective is to guide our clients to their financial goals and objectives within their given risk parameters. This can be achieved within the context of each client's individual principles. If a specific security conflicts with a client's values, then it's my responsibility to apply that client's capital elsewhere. This group is particularly interested in the environmental portion of ESG. Environmental factors may be affected directly or indirectly by a company's business practices. They include business activities that can create risk or rewards to ecosystems, water, air, or human health. Typical factors include renewable energy, energy efficiencies, climate change, or deforestation. It has long been believed that socially responsible investing negatively impacts investment returns. There has been extensive research on this topic, and the conclusion is that assumption is just not true. A particular example would be the fossil fuel investments. If you compare the S&P 500 energy sector's 10-year trailing returns to the broad market, you would find dramatic differences. The energy sector had a cumulative total return of 1.8% versus the broad market of over 200% for that same 10-year period. If you had a balanced account, which is a mixture of stocks and bonds, you would have still returned over 100%. In the 1990s, the energy sector comprised, at its high, 14% of the S&P 500 index. Today, it is less than 3%, a dramatic drop over time. Activist investors can also cause a change in behavior by companies that use these securities. It may involve divesting of these assets. Many professional investors underscore that climate change is not the direct driver of investment decisions. Addressing ESG concerns is. Public pressure and reduction of risk will remain a major issue for them. Recently, due to the coronavirus pandemic, there was a noticeable improvement to air quality in the lower Shenandoah Valley, my home. The most likely reason would be reduced vehicle emissions. Is this the type of event that causes investor preferences to change? People buy stocks not for today's earnings, but for the expectation of earnings growth in the future. Decisions on where and what to invest will be driven by their vision of tomorrow. We try to guide our clients toward financial assets that align with their values and long-term expectations.
Jay, thanks so much for your insightful contribution to our conversation on fossil fuel divestment. To close out the music portion of tonight's concert, I'm joined by my bandmates Joshua Vanna and Cameron Harris on a song written about oil and gas infrastructure called Well, 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 a composition begun by Bob Dylan and finished by songwriter Danny O'Keefe, with influences along the way by David Lindley, Bonnie Raitt, and Ben Harper and the Blind Boys of Alabama.
The man who stole the water will swim forevermore, but he'll never reach the land on that golden shore. That faint white light will haunt his heart till he's only a memory lost in the dark. Dig a hole in the ground all the way down to hell, till there ain't no more water in the well, well, well. When you're down on your knees and there's nothing left to sell, won't you dig a little deeper in that well, 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 well. Now the water used to run so clean and so fresh, now poison seeps in that withers the flesh. The man sells us back our water like we're fish on the line. You're gonna turn our blood into his wine. Now dig a hole in the ground all the way down to hell, till there ain't no more water in that well, well, well. When you're down on your knees with nothing left to sell, won't you dig a little deeper in that well, 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 well. Take care of your body like you care for your soul. Don't dig yourself into a hole till you pay the price. You don't know the worth, the air and the water, fire and the earth. Dig a hole in the rough all the way down to hell, till there ain't no more water. Now, well, when you're down on your knees with nothing left to say, won't you dig a little deeper? Now the man who stole the water will swim forevermore. They'll never reach that land on the golden shore. That faint white light will haunt his heart till he's only a memory lost in the dark.
Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in, and thanks again to SiNG and ARTivism for having us. Jess, can you tell us a little more about how to contact us and plug in?
I'd love to. You can reach out to us on Facebook at facebook.com/investvirginia. You can visit vasierra.club/investvirginia, or send us an email at investvirginia@gmail.com. We can't wait to talk to you, and thanks so much for this time tonight.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Well, good people, thanks so much for joining us once again for SiNG in Place.
And once again, thanks to all our wonderful guests.
Make sure to check out those links below for tonight's featured artists and show them some love.
Indeed. And get on board with our friends at Invest Virginia. Your action makes a difference.
We'll be continuing this series at 7 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, September 17th. So y'all come.
Our coalition partner for our September program will be Wild Virginia.
Together, you can help us secure a better water future for Virginia and hold the Virginia Department of Environmental Quality to their responsibilities to protect our water.
And until then, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Vimeo, and YouTube.
SiNG Collective, over and out. Friends, stay healthy, safe, and with some joy.
you.